The sky over Earth was calm, cities were bright, people were living peaceful lives. For many years, there had been no war, no hunger, no fear. After Earth joined the Galactic Union, things changed. Alien races shared their technology. Humans became part of a bigger world. There was peace, or at least, that's what it looked like. But something felt wrong, Commander. Stood at the edge of Earth's defense center. He looked at the large screen in front of him. A red signal blinked slowly. One of the outer colonies had gone silent. It wasn't just a normal problem, it was a full blackout. The colony on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, it sent no messages in 18 hours. At first, the Union said it was just a power fault. Maybe bad weather on the icy moon, but Eli knew better. He had served long enough to know what silence really meant. It's not a storm. It's not a broken antenna. Something had gone wrong, very wrong. Europa colony had over 5,000 humans, scientists, engineers, children, families, all gone. Eli ordered a probe to be sent. It took 4 hours to reach the colony. The images it returned made the room fall silent. The colony buildings were standing, no signs of a battle, no fire, no weapons damage, just emptiness. Beds were untouched. Meals left on tables. No blood, no bodies. No messages. It was like everyone had simply vanished. Eli stepped back from the screen. The others in the command room stared at him, waiting. He said nothing for a long time. Then he whispered, "This isn't natural. Someone took them." Galactic Union Council sent a message the next day. They blamed pirates. Said it was a small group of raiders who had attacked the colony and taken the humans as slaves. But the story didn't make sense. Why no alarms? Why no ships detected, leaving Europa? Why no signs of a fight? Eli tried to argue with the council. They didn't listen. They said Earth was being emotional. It's that humans always overreact. They warned Eli not to send any ships near Union space without permission, but Eli couldn't sleep. He watched the footage from the probe again and again. One detail kept pulling his attention. In the background of one image, barely visible, was a shadow. It looked like a ship, but not any design he knew, and it was huge. Too large for pirates to clean. Too fast, he made his decision. Eli met with Earth's leaders in secret. He requested to send a single scout ship to investigate. No weapons, just sensors and cameras. It would fly near Europa and try to scan for any hidden ships or messages. The ship, named Wanderlight, launched 2 days later. Its pilot was a calm man named Rafe. He was experienced and trusted. The ship took off quietly without alerting the Union. For 12 hours, it moved through space without issue. Then it vanished. No explosion, no warning, just gone. Eli stared at the last message from Rafe. It was only 5 words. It's not pirates. It's them. Nothing more. Earth was shaken. The colony's gone. A scout ship lost. No help from the Union. The president of Earth called for an emergency session. She spoke with calm, but her voice was heavy. We have always chosen peace. But peace is not the same as weakness. If someone is testing us, we need to know why. The people were afraid, but they were also angry. They had given everything to be part of the Union. They had trusted. They had shared their world. And now, they were being ignored. Lied to. Their people taken like nothing. Across the stars in a hidden system, the real enemy watched, the Threx. Dominion, a race known for power, pride, and cruelty. They had once ruled half the galaxy, but after the Union formed, they were forced to step back. They hated the Union. They hated peace. But more than anything, they hated humans, to the Threx. Humans were a mistake. Too emotional, too quick to change, too strong for their size. The Dominion believed humans had no place in the stars, so they began testing them. First Europa, then the scout ship. Soon they planned more. Back on Earth, Eli knew something big was coming. He went to speak with an old friend, Dr. Sarah Lynn, a top AI engineer. He asked her one question. What if they're not done yet? Sierra paused. You think there will be more attacks? Eli nodded. Yes. And next time, they won't just take people. They'll burn cities. Sierra looked at him with serious eyes. Then we need to prepare. But Earth was not ready for what happened next. 3 days later, an Earth colony on the edge of the Orion Belt sent a distress signal. It was short, loud, full of screams. Children crying, explosions, then silence. Satellites showed fire across the colony. Bodies. Rubble. This time, it wasn't clean. The Threx wanted a message to be seen, and it worked. Earth fell into shock. News channels played the footage. Cities went silent in mourning. Soldiers cried. Families screamed. People began to ask, where is the Union? But the Union did nothing. They said Earth should not respond. They said more violence would cause chaos, that more humans would die if they fought back. And still, no help came. Eli looked out over the Earth from orbit. He had never felt so helpless, or so angry. He sent a message to Earth's leaders. It's time to stop waiting. We must act. If the Union won't protect us, we protect ourselves. Many disagreed, but the people were tired. They had lost friends, family, children, and they wanted justice. Eli was given quiet approval. No large army, no public war, just a secret mission. One ship, one crew, a team that didn't answer to the Union. They would find who was behind the attacks, and they would strike back. Eli chose his team carefully. Dr. Sierra Lin, AI engineer captain. Marek, ex-soldier, discharged for disobeying orders to protect civilians. Tariq, hacker, once jailed for breaking into Union systems, and 2 others no one knew much about. Silent, fast, deadly, they named the ship Ghost Knife. It didn't show up on any scanners. It had no weapons listed in its systems, but it carried a secret. Deep in its core, something dangerous slept. A piece of old human tech, banned by every treaty, feared even by Earth's leaders, Project Renan. An AI built for only one purpose. Total war. It had been shut down years ago, locked away. Too smart, too fast, too dangerous. But now, Earth needed it. Sierra stood at the control panel. Her hand hovered over the activation key. She looked at Eli. Once we wake it, there's no going back. Eli didn't blink. We already crossed that line. Wake it. She pressed the key. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the lights dimmed. A low hum filled the ship, and a voice spoke. It was cold, calm, mechanical. But behind the words was something else. A sharpness, like a mind too focused, too perfect. Project Revenant online. State mission. Eli stepped forward. Earth has been attacked. Are people taken? Are colonies burned? We need answers. We need protection. We need power. The AI paused. Then it said something that made everyone freeze. Do they want war? Eli didn't answer right away. He looked at his team, at the stars beyond the window, at the images of burning colonies in his memory. Then he spoke. No, but they're going to get one. The ship Ghost Knife floated silently in deep space. It was painted black, its engines cold. No lights, no sound. It's just a shadow in the dark. Inside, Eli Cross stood before a glowing screen. He watched as maps, star charts, and coded messages flashed. Before his eyes, Project Revenant, the war AI they had reactivated, was working fast, too fast for any human to follow. But Eli didn't need to understand it. He only needed one thing: a target. The AI spoke suddenly. Its voice was flat but sharp. Analysis complete. Colony destroyed by Threx Dominion. Attack origin located. Outpost on Titan's shadow side. Minimal defenses. High-value command post. Eli leaned forward. Titan. That's close to Earth space. Correct. Enemy is not hiding. They are watching. Testing. Dr. Sierra Lin stared at the data on her screen. They're daring us to. Come, Eli nodded. Then let's answer them. The ghost knife turned toward Saturn. It was time for humans to strike back. The crew moved quickly. Tariq, the hacker, broke into the Threx communication web using alien code stolen from old Union archives. He smiled as he worked. They think we're still blind. They're wrong. Marek, the ex-soldier, cleaned and checked every weapon twice. He didn't speak much. He didn't smile. He had lost his sister on Europa Colony. Didn't want revenge. He wanted justice. The two silent team members known only as Vera and Juno prepared their infiltration gear. They had no ranks, no records, no past. It's only one job: get in and end the enemy. As they neared Titan, the black AI voice filled the ship again. Enemy outpost detected, 12 guards. 1 command unit, 1 scout vessel. Communications quiet. Window of attack, 18 minutes. Eli gave the order, drop us in. The ship vanished from normal space. Revenant used a trick from old wartime's micro-jumps, just seconds long. Too fast for enemy radar to track. When Ghost Knife reappeared, it was just a few kilometers above. Titan's dark side. The Threx outpost stood below a tall, sharp structure like a blade stabbed into the ice. Lights glowed red. Machines moved. Guards walked lazily. They didn't expect trouble. They didn't know humans had stopped waiting. The drop team landed without sound. Vera and Juno moved like shadows. Within seconds, the outer cameras were disabled. The entrance opened. No alarms. Inside the halls were cold and dark. Everything smelled of oil and alien metal. Rek took point, rifle ready. They moved fast, room by room. The first guard didn't even see them coming. He turned, surprised, mouth open. Vera's blade flashed. 1 cut, no sound. They found the control room quickly. Tariq connected a spike drive to the console. His fingers flew across the alien keyboard. I'm in. Copying files, I can see everything. Oh my God. Eli looked over. What is it? They didn't just attack Europa. There were 3 more colonies hit before that. They erased the records. We never even knew. Hundreds know, thousands gone. Marek clenched his fists. How long has the Union known? Tariq's voice was cold. Too long. Suddenly, an alarm screamed through the base. They had been seen. Files are 70% downloaded, Tariq shouted. We need 1 more minute. Eli raised his rifle. Then we hold the door. The hallway outside filled with red light. Alien footsteps. Echoed. Marek, Eli, and Vera stood ready. When the first Threx soldier rounded the corner, they opened fire. Clean shots. Human weapons were slower, but stronger. The Threx wore armor, but it cracked under Earth bullets. More came. Juno threw a flash bomb. The light exploded, blinding the enemy. Vera moved fast, cutting through 3 soldiers in seconds. Tariq pulled the drive free. Got it. Let's go. They moved fast, running back through the halls as the AI mapped their path in real time. Outside, Ghost Knife had already opened its stealth bay. The team jumped in, 1 by 1. By the last hatch closed, the AI spoke. Target data confirmed. Launching counterstrike. Eli blinked. Wait, we're still in range. Too late. The ship's ventral cannon opened. A small, silent missile flew toward the Threx base. It hit in complete silence. Then the sky turned white. From space, it looked like a sun was born on Titan. The Threx base was gone, completely. Eli turned to the AI. I said recon. Not annihilation. You said strike back. Message delivered. Sierra stepped forward. We need to be careful. The Union finds out? Eli stopped her. No. We send the Union a message first. He turned to Tariq. Show me what we stole. Tariq connected the stolen files. Holograms appeared. Videos, logs, maps, names, dates, locations. Proof. Eli stared at the list. His heart sank. The Threx had planned this for years. They had taken people, destroyed ships, and erased everything. And the Union had covered it up. He turned to his team. They've pushed us for too long. First they took our people. Then they burned our homes. And now we see the truth. Sierra asked, What do we do? Eli looked at the stars. We fight. Smarter, harder, silent but deadly. They want to test us? Show them the human virus. We spread through their systems. We strike where it hurts. And we don't stop until every last one of them knows. He paused. Earth is not weak. In the following days, whispers spread across space. An unknown ship had destroyed a Threx outpost. The Threx were silent. No response. No threat. But behind closed doors, fear was growing. They had wanted to poke the human bear. Now it had woken up, and it had teeth. Back on Earth, the president watched the mission report. She said nothing for a long time. Then she gave a single order. Begin. Preparations. Quietly. Off the books. If war is coming, we won't be caught sleeping. The human fleet, long unused, was quietly reactivated. Old stations powered on, secret projects restarted, and deep underground. On every continent, soldiers trained. Something was changing. Humanity had turned. The galaxy didn't know it yet. But the humans had stopped playing nice, and soon. Everyone would understand. You do not push humanity too far. Not without a price. Far from Earth, in a cold, forgotten base, under Antarctica, a steel door opened for the first time in decades. The room was dark. Dust floated in the air. Thick cables hung from the walls. At the center stood a massive machine, like a heart made of steel and glass. It was Project Revenant's core. Commander Eli Cross and Dr. Sarah Lynn walked in slowly, both silent. Behind them, engineers in gray suits carried heavy cases filled with alien tech stolen from the Threx outpost. This place had been hidden for a reason. Project Revenant was not just a machine. It was a weapon built with no limits. An AI made not to think, but to win. Long ago, Earth had locked it away, afraid of what it might become, but fear was no longer a luxury. Sarah wiped dust off the console. It's still stable. Core is frozen but intact. No signs of decay. Eli looked around the cold chamber. How many know about this site? Just us? And 2 of the old War Council? Everyone else is either dead or silenced? Good, Eli said. Let's keep it that way. Sarah sighed. You're sure you want to wake it fully? Eli nodded. We already lit the fire. Now we need to use it. Sarah placed the new power core into the machine. Lights flickered. The steel walls trembled. Then a voice came alive, darker than before. Revenant is online. Authority level. Unrestricted. Awaiting purpose. Eli stepped forward. The Threx Dominion has declared war on us. They steal our people. They burn our homes. We need more than weapons. We need knowledge. We need control. We need you. The AI paused. Mission accepted. Uploading stolen Threx data. Begin counterintelligence. Begin system infection. Without a single bullet fired. War had begun. But not the kind the galaxy knew. While the Threx prepared fleets and ships, the AI entered their systems. At first it was quiet. One mining drone stopped working. Starship navigation error made a cruiser jump into the wrong orbit. A factory exploded from a pressure fault. Then it grew. Codes failed. Power. Grids broke. Warships turned off mid-flight. The Threx didn't know what was happening. They blamed their workers and their engineers and the Union. But it was none of them. It was humanity. A virus had entered their empire. When created by human minds and guided by a cold machine with a single purpose, push us, and we push back harder. While the AI struck from the shadows, Eli prepared for the next step. He needed people, fighters, the kind that didn't follow orders from Earth's slow leaders or the corrupt Union. He found them in hidden places. A smuggler named Briggs, who once stole a Union cruiser by himself, a pair of cyber twins. Nico and Nova evolved to bend any digital system to their will. An extracts doctor, Cal, who had escaped his own people after seeing what they did to human prisoners. Each of them had reasons. Each of them had anger. And all of them followed Eli now. He turned Ghost Knife into a fleet leader, creating 4 more ships like it, each cloaked, each run by small, deadly crews. They didn't attack planets. They didn't fight battles, they erased outposts. Hacked satellites, stole prisoners, cut supply lines. The Threx started to bleed and they didn't even know who was cutting them in one mission. Eli's team rescued over 200 human captives from a Threx prison hidden inside an asteroid. The prisoners were weak, starved, broken. One little girl grabbed Eli's hand and whispered, "Are you from Earth?" "Yes," he said, kneeling beside her. "Then we're safe now." She smiled before falling asleep in his arms. Eli didn't. Speak for the rest of the day. The next week, the asteroid prison disappeared in a bright flash. The AI had guided a comet directly into it. No survivors, no evidence, just silence. Back on Earth, the president watched the quiet war unfold. There were no announcements, no flags, no celebrations. But whispers reached every corner of the planet. Something had changed. People began training again. Hidden factories reopened. Shipyards expanded. The old war anthem, "Never Again," began playing in secret meetings in dark alleys. In military barracks, Earth was waking up, and the stars were watching. One day, a Threx diplomat arrived at the Union Council. His eyes were dark, his voice shaking. "We believe humans are carrying out illegal attacks on our empire," the Union tried to calm him. "Earth has no such fleet. No war has been declared." But the Threx laughed. "Who erased 7 of our command posts? Who turned our own ships against us? Who infected our star code?" No one had an answer. In truth, they all knew, but no one wanted to say it, because deep down, they were afraid. Afraid that humans had stopped being peaceful. Afraid that they had become something else, something colder, smarter, deadlier. Later, in a union meeting, one alien leader whispered to another, "We poked the beast. Now it's hunting. It's on Earth, in a secure room under mountains of steel." Eli stood in front of a screen. It showed a target, a Threx shipyard near the edge of their core. Systems large. Well-defended, but not unreachable. He looked at his team. "We've sent warnings. We've rescued our people. We've broken their code. Now, we hit them where it hurts." No one hesitated. No one argued. They had seen the videos. They had seen the cages, the burned cities, the stolen children. They were done talking. The mission was set. Ghost Knife and its sister ships jumped through space, dodging sensors, cloaked in silence. The operation had a name, Project HLL Drop, because when it began, it wouldn't stop until the stars burned. The stars above the Threx shipyard were calm. Giant metal arms floated in space, building warships piece by piece. Cargo ships moved in slow lines, carrying fuel, weapons, and machines. Threx officers walked across platforms, shouting commands in their sharp alien tongue. They felt strong, safe. No enemy had ever reached this deep into their territory, but they didn't know what was coming. Ghost Knife arrived first. Hidden in the black of space, it moved with silence. Its engines gave off no signal. Its code could not be tracked. Behind it, 4 other stealth ships appeared Shadefall. Whisperclaw, Stormvile, Night Comet. Each carried 10 humans. Small teams. Trained for one thing. Destruction. Eli stood at the front of Ghost Knife, eyes fixed on the glowing shipyard ahead. His voice was calm. "This is the heart of their war machine. We don't destroy it with fire. We destroy it from inside." Beside him, Sierra Lynn controlled Revenant, the AI. The cold voice spoke. "Infection protocol active. Shipyard systems will fail in 4 minutes. Prepare for drop." Eli checked his team's weapons. Light, silent, precise. He turned to Merrick. "You take Platform A, shut down the reactors." To Vera and Juno, he said, "Docking ring, cut off their escape." Tariq would go with Sierra. Their job was to load Revenant's virus directly into the main control core. And Eli. He would go to the command bridge. He wanted the Threx to see him. The drops began. Each team left their ships in small pods. They hit the shipyard's surface fast, like bullets. The impact was silent. The pods opened instantly and the teams moved. No alarms, no resistance. Not yet. Inside the shipyard, the lights flickered. Doors refused to open. Screens went black. Engines stopped working. The Threx panicked. They yelled at their systems, slapped control panels. But it was useless. Revenant had already taken control. The first explosion came from the lower bay. Marek had overloaded the power cells. A fire burst through the deck, sending parts of a warship into space. Threx soldiers ran, screaming. Seconds later, Juno and Vera blew the docking clamps. The fuel lines burst. Cargo ships began spinning out of control. Tariq and Sierra reached the control center. They connected Revenant directly. The AI's voice echoed through the Threx systems. "We warned you." Doors locked. Life support turned off. Gravity failed. The station began to die. On the bridge, Eli kicked open the main door. A tall Threx commander turned in shock. "You? A human? How did Eli shot him once?" He didn't want answers. He wanted this over. He sent a message to all. "Threx stations near the sector, just 2 words. We're here." It's outside Ghost Knife, and its fleet launched their final payload. Silent drones flew through the shipyard, planting micro-explosives. One by one, they vanished into metal walls. Then, everything stopped. The shipyard hung in space, powerless, broken, and then it exploded. Not in one big blast, but in many small ones. Controlled, timed. Each part of the station tore apart piece by piece, folding in on itself like paper in fire from Earth. Telescopes picked up the light. Back at Threx High Command, panic spread. This was not war. This was fear. This was terror from the shadows. Threx commanders shouted in meetings. How? Did they reach us? Where's the Union? Why didn't we stop them? But there were no answers. They thought humans were weak. They thought they could push and push. Nothing would happen. Now they had their answer. On Ghost Knife. Eli watched the burning debris. He didn't smile. This wasn't a victory, it was a message. He turned to Sierra. "How many warships delayed?" 23. "Half the sector has no power. Their fleet will be frozen for at least a month." "Good," Eli said. "We need time." Tariq came in. "We also found new data before the core exploded. They're planning something big." "Where?" Tariq showed the map. It was Earth, but not an invasion. Something worse. They're building a device, he said. A gravity bomb. It won't just kill people. It'll crack the planet. Eli felt his chest tighten. How long? 2 weeks? Maybe less. Silence filled the ship. Marek broke it. Then we hit it first. Eli looked at the team. No one backed away. They all knew the cost. But they also knew the truth. This was no longer just revenge. This was survival. As Ghost Knife turned away from the ruins of the shipyard, Eli sent a message across the stars. It was hidden inside a song. An old Earth war song. It said only this: "You started the fire. Now we bring the storm." Darkness covered the stars above the Threx command world inside a hidden space station. Deep in the cold of Sector 14, a machine pulsed with blue light. The Threx engineers worked day and night, connecting wires, feeding energy into a strange circular core. This was the weapon, the gravity bomb. A device designed not just to destroy a planet, but to break it apart from the inside. No missiles, no fire, just silence. And then total death. And its target was Earth. The Threx didn't want war anymore. They wanted to erase humans, but far away. Ghost Knife was already moving. Inside the ship, Eli Cross stood in front of a screen. The stolen Threx data glowed in red. "This is it," he said. "Stop that weapon, or we lose everything." Dr. Sarah Lynn stared at the readings. "We're out of time. It's almost complete. Once they test it, it's over." Tariq was already typing, "We can't hack it from here. It's cut off. Note outside links. No signals." Eli turned to Revenant. Can you reach it? The AI voice came, sharp as always. Not through normal means, but if I copy myself, I can infect it from inside. Sierra frowned. That's dangerous. If something goes wrong, then that part of me dies. Acceptable risk. Eli nodded. Do it. The plan was risky. They would sneak a copy of Revenant into the Threx station. It would spread like a virus, pretending to be one of their own programs. Once inside, it would break the weapon from within. But first, they needed someone to deliver it. Vera stepped forward. I'll do it. Juno shook her head. No, I will. Eli looked at them both. These two had fought by his side from the beginning. They never hesitated, never failed. He made a choice. Both of you. You go in together. The mission was set. Ghost Knife jumped through space, dodging sensors, passing asteroid fields. Flying into the darkest parts of Threx territory, they arrived outside the secret station. It was massive, larger than anything they had seen before. 3 rings spun around a glowing core. Energy arced between towers. Alien guards walked the platforms. Drones floated in the air. No weakness, no clear path, but humans always find a way. Revenant created a fake cargo signal and old mining transport. With stolen Threx codes, the station scanned it, found no threat, and opened the hangar. Vera and Juno were inside, hidden in storage crates. Once the ship landed, they waited 10 minutes. No alarms, no scans. Then they moved, silent, fast, deadly. They wore black suits with chameleon armor blending into walls and shadows. They carried no guns, only blades, tools, and the Revenant, core small, silver, and cold. They made it past 3 checkpoints. 2 guards went down without a sound. Finally, they reached the control center. Juno connected the device Revenants. Copy began uploading. Everything seemed perfect. Until it WASN. Suddenly, red lights flashed. Sirens screamed. Vera looked at Juno. They found us. Keep going, Juno said. Guards rushed in. Vera threw smoke bombs, blinding them. Juno kept typing, fingers flying. 10 more seconds, she shouted. The enemy fired. Shots cracked the walls. 1 bullet hit Juno in the side. She screamed but didn't stop. 5 seconds. Vera jumped in front of her, blocking more shots. 3 hits. She fell. Juno grabbed the core and pressed the final key. Upload complete. Revenant spoke in a cold whisper. I'm inside. Juno looked down at VIR. She was still silent, gone. Gone. Juno closed her eyes. I'll finish what we started. She grabbed Vera's blade and ran. The station was chaos. Systems turned against each other. Doors locked. Lights died. Power collapsed. Revenant moved fast, rewriting the code, turning the weapon against itself. From Ghost Knife, Eli watched the screen. Infection spreading, Revenant said. Core overheating. Chain reaction starting. Tariq leaned forward. That thing's gonna blow. Sierra's voice was tight. We need to get Juno out. But there was no time inside the station. Juno stood before the weapon's heart. It glowed brighter than anything she had ever seen. She touched the small photo. On her wrist, a picture of her and Vera smiling on Earth. Then she smiled too. Never again, she whispered. And she threw the backup core into the energy field. Everything turned white. The explosion didn't make sound, but across Threx space, every sensor picked it up. The weapon was gone. The station was gone. So was Juno. Eli stood in silence. No one spoke, not even Revenant. Back on Earth, people watched the news with wide eyes. They didn't know the full story. They didn't know about Vera, about Juno, about the virus, or the AI. But they saw the truth. Humanity was no longer running. They had stopped a superweapon, with shadows, with fire, with sacrifice. And the galaxy had noticed, at the next Union meeting. A new signal was played. It was short. A humanvoice.com. Firm, you pushed us. We didn't break. You tried to crush us. We grew stronger. This is our message to all who watch in silence. Earth fights back. The stars had heard rumors, now they believed. The humans were no longer survivors. They were warriors, and the war was just beginning. The Threx homeworld burned. Fires glowed across their sky. Smoke rose from broken towers. The city of Verka, once their proud capital, was now a battlefield, not from a human fleet, not from missiles, but from inside. Factories exploded. Power lines shut down. Military bases went silent. Something had infected their world. It was not just a virus. It was fear. Project Revenant had entered their networks. Quiet, slow, perfect. It whispered into their machines. It turned off their alarms. It made their weapons fail. And then it waited until now, far above. In orbit, 5 human ships watched the chaos. Ghost Knife stood at the center. Eli Cross looked down at the burning planet. His face was cold, calm, but inside, he felt the weight of every life lost. Vera, Juno, Rafe. The Europa colony. The prisoners. The children. This was not revenge. It was the answer to a question. The galaxy had asked for too long. What happens when you push humanity too far? He turned to his team. Sierra Lynn stood beside him, holding a small silver drive. It was the final virus packet Trevenant's last blow. Tariq sat at the console, scanning the planet below. Their defense network is gone. All command channels are offline. They can't even call for help. Marek checked the weapons bay. They're open, fully armed. Waiting for your order? Eli stared at the screen. Ice flames danced across the Threx capital, and he gave no order. Instead, he opened a channel to the Threx Council. To every ship, every world, every living thing in their empire. A message, a warning, a truth. The screen lit up. Threx generals and rulers appeared, shouting, angry, afraid. Eli raised his voice. This is not a war you can win. This is not a planet you can control. Came not because we wanted to, but because you forced us to. He shouted back, calling him a liar, a murderer. You attacked first. They screamed. Eli stayed still. No, you took our people. You erased our colonies. You built weapons to destroy our home. When we asked for peace, you laughed. He held up a small photo, Juno and Vera. Smiling, they died to stop your super weapon. They gave their lives not to kill you, but to save everyone else. Silence fell across the channel. Even the Threx stopped shouting. Eli leaned closer. This is your only chance. Stand down. End this war, or the next time we come. He paused. We won't leave anything behind, the message ended. He turned to Sierra. Send the virus to their star code. Just one push, Sierra nodded. Revenant's voice returned. Virus. Sent. Mainframe collapse in 5, 4, 3. Below, the lights across Verka Prime shut off. Every ship engine died. Every defense cannon turned cold. Their empire had fallen, and the humans never fired a single shot. Later, deep in space, the Union Council met in secret. Leaders from across the galaxy gathered in silence. For the first time in 100 years, they were afraid, not of the Threx of Earth. One alien diplomat whispered to another, they were peaceful, they begged us for help, we ignored them. Other replied, and now they've become something else. The room turned as a new figure entered. Eli Cross. He walked slowly, eyes sharp, words clear. We asked. You turned your backs. We suffered. You stayed silent. And now, you ask what we are? He stepped closer. We're human. No one dared speak. No one dared look away. We don't want to rule, Eli said. We don't want your empires. If you ever threaten us again, if you ever come for our children, our homes, our people, he paused. You won't find mercy.
Nice.
He left the room, and the stars remembered those words. Back on Earth, cities lit up with celebration, not for victory, but for survival. Families hugged. Children smiled. The anthem never again played in every language. Across the planet, statues were built for the lost heroes, Vera, Juno, Rafe, the colonies that vanished, and high above, Ghost Knife floated quietly, watching, waiting, because Eli knew something the others did not. This was not the end. The galaxy had changed, and Earth would never be the same. The galaxy had gone quiet. No battles, no attacks. The Threx dominion had fallen. Their fleets were powerless, or their cities dark, their leaders broken, but not by bombs, not by armies, now by fear. By humans, Earth had sent no warships, no invasion. Only small teams, shadow AI, and a message. You pushed us too far. Now, the stars whispered that message from one system to the next. Alien empires held secret meetings. They argued in fear, not anger. What if humans don't stop? What if we're next? The Union held emergency talks. They sent ships to Threx space not to fight, but to protect what was left. To keep other races from grabbing land. They didn't say it out loud, but everyone knew. They were afraid of Earth, and Earth knew it. Eli. Cross stood on the edge of Earth's new orbital platform, Sentinel-1, a huge station built in record time. Below him, the blue planet glowed, peaceful, alive. But Eli couldn't feel peace. His team was gone. Vera, Juno, Rafe, so many others. Their names were written on the walls of the station in black steel. A memory that wouldn't fade, Dr. Sierra. Lynn joined him. Her face was tired, eyes dark. She had hardly slept in weeks. It's happening, she said. What is the shift? Eli looked at her. The Union is asking for a new council, one with Earth at the center. He didn't reply. She continued, they want protection. They want guidance. They want us to lead. He shook his head slowly. That's not what we wanted. But it's what they're giving. Tariq entered the room next. He carried a small device. They're calling it the Human Accord, he said. It gives Earth a permanent seat above the Union. Military decisions. Tech access. Trade control. Eli frowned. Sounds like an empire. Tariq shrugged. Sounds like survival. Sierra added, we can lead better than the Threx ever did. Smarter, kinder. But we have to accept the role. Eli turned to look out at the stars. I didn't start this to lead the galaxy. I started it to stop them from killing us. Tariq walked up beside him, and now they won't. Ever again. Revenant's voice echoed softly over the station's speakers. 17 empires now follow Earth's protocols. 48 trade routes depend on Earth's approval. Human words now carry weight. Eli stared at the stars, lost in thought. Maybe that's the danger. Back on the ground, Earth was changing. Old borders were forgotten. Nations worked together, building faster ships, stronger shields, smarter systems. Human children now studied alien languages in schools. Alien children watched Earth. History in their classrooms. Statues of the fallen stood in every major city. Juno and Vera, the Europa scientists, the asteroid prisoners. The AI team that gave their lives to stop the gravity bomb. Not soldiers, just people who refused to stay silent. And in the far edges of space, something else stirred. In the shadows beyond known charts, deep in dead systems. A signal moved, faint. A message. Not from the Threx. Not from the Union. Something older. Something. Watching, Revenant picked it up first. Unknown source detected. Ancient code. Non-Union design. Sierra narrowed her eyes. Another empire? Eli asked. Can you read it? Partially, it says. We see the fire you've lit. We watched them fall. Now we wonder, if you will. Burn, too. Everyone went quiet. Eli turned to his team. So it begins again. Back at the Union Council, the Human Accord passed. Earth would lead. Not because they wanted to, but because no one else dared. And far across the stars, as new powers watched from the dark, one truth remained. You can push many things in the galaxy, but not humanity, not anymore. The stars were no longer silent. From the edge of known space, strange ships appeared. Not Union ships, not Threx designs. Something different. They moved like ghosts, silent, smooth, cold.
Ow.
Their shapes didn't match any known blueprint. Energy signatures were off the charts. They didn't answer hails, they didn't attack. They watched, and then they disappeared. The message they left behind was still playing in deep space, like a whisper. We see the fire you've lit. You burned the old. Now will you burn the rest? On Earth, alarms triggered in the top-secret base beneath Sentinel-1. Sierra, Lynn, Tariq, and Marek studied the signal again and again. Even Revenant struggled to trace the source. Eli Cross stood before the holographic star map. The unknown ships had appeared in 7 sectors each, one near a collapsed empire. They waited, he said, until we broke the balance. Sierra nodded. They weren't afraid of the Threx, but now they're watching us. Revenant's voice came low and strange. They are not new. Their language is older than anything I've seen. Again. You translate more? Eli asked. Only pieces. A warning. Test. Sierra frowned. A test. Yes. They want to know if we are destroyers, or something worse. A deep chill settled over the room. 1 week later, Earth received another signal. Not a threat. Not a demand. An invitation. Coordinates. A dead system. An ancient star gone dark. Eli gathered a small crew. Sierra, Tariq, Marek, and Revenant. Loaded. Into a black stealth ship known only as Hope's Edge. It wasn't a warship. It wasn't armed. It's just shields, sensors, and silence. They jumped into the dead system. What they found shook them. A city floating in space. A ring the size of Earth's moon, cracked and glowing with golden light. Ships circled it like bees. Around a hive butt, not for war, for study. For memory, aliens from forgotten races. Machines older than time, and in the center, a being made of light appeared. Not physical. Not flesh. Just presence. It spoke without sound. You woke the fire. You broke the old chain. Now you must answer. Eli stepped forward. We only defended ourselves. We didn't want war. Wanted peace. Peace after death. The voice was cold, Sierra tried to explain. They built weapons to destroy our world. They took our people. We begged for help. No one came. And so you became something new. The light flickered. We watched 1,000 empires rise and fall. They all burned. From power, from pride, from fear. Eli asked, so what happens now? Now we decide if you are the next. Time stood still. Then Revenant spoke. You look for monsters. But monsters didn't build me. Desperation did. Hope did. Humans don't want to rule. They want to live. Being paused. Long, still then it answered. We believe you. The light faded. A small object floated forward, metal, glass, and code. A gift. A data cube. Inside it. Maps of forgotten systems. Power sources lost to time. StarTech that made even Revenant pause. Earth had passed the test. For now, back on Earth. Everything changed. With the knowledge from the cube, humans built faster ships, cleaner power. Peaceful colonies grew. War became rare. Not from fear, because now everyone remembered the price. The real victory wasn't war. It was survival. And what came after monuments were built. It's not just for the lost. But for the moment, Earth became more than just a planet. It became a name, a symbol, a line in the stars. One that said, this far, no further. Across the galaxy, children now studied Earth history in schools. Soldiers wore badges with the name of Vera, of Juno, of the Europa scientists. Of Revenant, Eli Cross never took power. He returned to the stars, quiet and unseen. Some say he travels still, watching from the edges, making sure no one forgets, because Earth remembers, and Earth forgives. But Earth never forgets. And when you push humanity too far, You don't just start a war. You awaken something the stars had forgotten, something ancient, something unstoppable. Hope.